G'day everyone, I hope you're all doing amazing. So the best thing about making videos on YouTube for me is seeing your comments underneath my videos, saying whether you liked them, whether you hated them, whether you have bad taste and you don't like my videos. No, I'm joking. But I thought for this one, I would get you guys involved. So I recently asked you all for your most controversial Hoi 4 opinions, because nothing does better on YouTube than a controversial opinion. Just before we get into that though, if you guys do enjoy my videos and you want to help out, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and leave a little comment down below. Even if it's just absolute nonsense, it really helps out. So first up, Frog YT says, mages aren't fun. And I'm going to be honest, I really disagree with this one because I have had some of my most fun games of all time playing as the US. And even though it seems really boring because they're super strong, just being completely overpowered in a game does bring you some sense of joy, especially in a game like Hoi 4 that is so difficult. Even playing as the UK or the Soviets, who typically they are a bit stronger nations, obviously Germany as well. No, I think the power creep they get is thoroughly enjoyable. They also have by far the most paths and options, especially with the newer DLCs of any country. So I would say if you are a new player and you're looking to get a bit more variety or creativity in your games, try out a major. Just pick one, play them over and over, maybe like 5 or 6 times before you swap to a new country. You will pick up the mechanics and their unique ways of working very quickly. Also, I do have country guides, which I'll link below if you guys do need help playing any of the majors. I've done the UK, Germany, Soviets, and America now, with Italy, Japan, and France to come. Mustache Bob says, the Italian focus tree isn't very fun to play. Most of the bonuses just feel pointless and there aren't any substantial bonuses. Well, so Mustache Bob also goes on to say that they refer to mostly in historical playthroughs. Now, what I would say is Italy does have a more difficult starting position. However, I think there is a lot of fun in being able to sort of roleplay that historical game, fight the UK for North Africa, take control of Gibraltar, you know, do the Mare Nostrum that Mussolini was banging on about. And also in their focus tree, they do have a lot of agency to get quite strong, particularly in the industrial tree. There's a lot of short, like 35-day focuses here and there for your military factories, some civilian factories. You can get to 5 research slots as Italy, which is honestly for a major, the bare minimum, honestly. But, you know, sometimes they don't get them for ages. You can theoretically get that in 4 focuses with no restrictions. The historical path as Italy is also pretty good. It's great for beginner players, but it also provides a good amount of fun for more experienced players as well, particularly because you have the choice of going down the Mare Nostrum path or the Towards a Greater Italy, which is standing more on your own, throwing hands with everyone in the world, and getting the bonuses associated with that. And also down this little path here, you can build up Mussolini and make him quite powerful. So even though it is a little bit more limited than some other major players, there's still a lot of fun and options for you there as Italy, and I do enjoy a cheeky Italy game here or there. Bullcax says, new DLC is kind of mid. It just feels like Paradox added a ton of focuses with little regard for balance, also making it very easy for some miners to dominate Europe without any conflicts. I've got to disagree with this one. And I know you guys will say that I'm a Paradox shill, and you know what? Fuck it, I am. You know what? Sue me. No, but in all seriousness, I've really enjoyed this new DLC, and the ability for miners to be able to build up and become a major is always something that I think has to be possible for them. So for example, playing as Austria recently, the fact that you can get all of your old like parts of the Austro-Hungarian Empire without too much struggle, but there is still going to be some difficulty there, but it's not like brutally painful. I don't think this game should be excruciating, especially for beginners. Like there are certain things like Luxembourg, which will always be hard and people can do that, but every single country shouldn't be pushing shit uphill. There should be a more easy way to do things because that is fun at the end of the day. Most people don't play their games wanting to be stressed. So this DLC has been one of my favorites actually since No Step Back, so I have to disagree with this one. But look, there is a balance issue. There's a balance issue with every DLC release, and as more people play it and over time, the game will become more balanced. Literally just today actually, as of me recording this, Paradox released the patch 1.15.2, which this adds a whole lot of balances and bug fixes to the game. As someone who used to play Rainbow Six Siege a lot and having to deal with Ubisoft and their relationship with the community, I think Paradox does not a bad job. But I mean, you guys may feel like you disagree. I obviously have a different opinion, maybe from working with them on videos in the past. So I'm going to acknowledge that and maybe just bow out there. Chombus, great name, says people who talk about cost, meta, and who don't play late game are idiots. Idiots is a bit harsh, but I agree with the general premise here. I think that talking about the meta or what's most optimal is the fastest way to kill any enjoyment that you have for the game. It just means that you're going to be over-analyzing it and makes it a chore to try and keep up with what is meta. And if you watch like Dankus and Bakoan and Tommy K and all those guys, you'll be following that anyway. But, you know, for the rest of us common folk who don't have time for that, you know, just play how you want to play. To be honest, 20 width infantry or 21 width infantry with like, what is it, like 7-2 artillery as well, 7 infantry to artillery, all that stuff still works fine even in today with the combat meta changes. Just do what you find fun, try different things until you find something that works and stick with that. It doesn't have to be that hard. Vitros says, controversial, the Navy isn't hard. Naval design and naval missions are pretty straightforward, especially against the AI. I agree again with the premise. I don't think the Navy isn't hard. I think that it can be like a significant barrier for people because it's a mechanic, or the way it plays out is not something which is really comparative to any other game. Once you do understand it though, I fully agree. Once you get your head around it, it is relatively straightforward for you to follow along and understand the ship design and how the combat works. And then that will make it less scary and stressful for you when you're playing. I do have 3 separate naval guides. I will link them below, but they're also just on my channel if you search for the Navy. But yeah, the Navy is one of the most fun things in the game for me, and it makes me really sad that so many people struggle with it. And you know, it's understandable. My good friend Pigeon says, hello there, controversial opinion, engineer companies are actually good. Cap, like, engineers are so overrated. They're probably the most overrated support company in the game, I think. People put them on absolutely everything with no regard for what they're actually meant to be used for. And I'll show you. All right, let's have a look at the engineer support company. So not even taking into consideration the combat stats, the main things that engineers are really good for are the entrenchment, particularly when you pair it with Grand Battle Plan, and that will get you an extra 10 entrenchment for your infantry. Each subsequent level of engineers will also increase the amount of entrenchment that you're getting out of them as well. So progressively, they'll get better and better. However, for me, the main benefit of having engineers are the terrain bonuses. So forests, you get extra movement and 25% extra defense. Hills, you get extra defense. Jungles, extra defense. Marshes give you more movement and defense, like significant movement and defense. Forts, they give you attack bonuses to forts. And most importantly, in rivers and amphibious invasions, they give you attack. They give you an attack bonus to amphibious invasions, and also extra movement across rivers. So these also increase in terms of the amount of terrain bonuses you get as they level up, extra attack on rivers, and then finally urban bonuses with the highest level one. Not that anyone would ever really get that. The terrain bonuses are really what I personally use what I use engineers for. Putting engineers on every single infantry division is not going to be worth it. Likewise, putting engineers on all of your assault divisions is also not going to be worth it. You really need to think about what you're using them for. So a defensive division is well worth chucking these on because of all the defense bonuses they give you in the various terrains. Likewise, a amphibious or marine unit, I mean, you should be putting the pioneers on them from the special forces tree if you have access to that. But if not, then putting engineers on your amphibious units, on your marines, is going to be just enhancing their effectiveness. And that is a good use of the support equipment that you need to invest in that to get them. Putting engineers on every single division is just going to waste your support equipment, and there's so many better things that you can put that IC towards. The other thing which I want to talk about with engineers is the fact that you can get flame tanks out of them. The bonuses that flame tanks give are also insane to pretty much all different types of terrain. If you get medium flame tanks, they give you like 10 to 15% combat bonuses in most types of terrain. With Götterdämmerung, you now get them through a special project. But if you don't have Götterdämmerung, it's just through no step back. So in that circumstance, research engineers level 2 build yourself some flame tanks, chuck them on mainly your attacking divisions, especially your armor or your amphibious divisions, and you will notice a significant improvement. Aside from that, you don't need to be putting engineers on everything. DevSmite says that Norway and France are actual fun countries to play. I haven't played enough in Norway to really say, but yeah, I actually enjoy playing France. I'll clarify in a non-historical game, getting Napoleon and going through that path as France is super duper fun. I don't mind a communist France as well. So yeah, 100%. Like, and there are so many paths for all these different countries, which most people, I would say, don't play all of the paths in all the countries that they have. So yeah, try something new. Go and give yourself a Norway or non-historical France a go. EC de God says Paradox should add more railroaded events and missions, particularly for the Allies when playing historical. Things such as Pearl Harbor, Manhattan, D-Day, etc. Kind of like Kaiser, and they also go on to say that majors deserve more attention over every nation giving a focus tree. So there's two parts here. With the first one, the railroaded events, I 100% agree. I think that there should be, even if they put them in terms of decisions and how they work, things like D-Day or Pearl Harbor are perfect examples. I think that having something where if you meet the requirements, you can launch the Pearl Harbor attack as Japan to break into the war, or same thing like as the Allies with the D-Day invasion. Look at, for example, the Operation Catapult you can do as the UK, and you can sink all the French fleet. I think it should be a little bit beyond just the political power cost. You should have to meet certain conditions of having your navy wherever, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that would be super fun. And I think it would also help newer players when they're doing a historical game to follow along with what's happening. Not everyone knows every single battle, event, etc. of World War II. So the longer your game goes on, even in a historical game, the further off, of course, it becomes. So I think that would be super helpful and also fun. The second part of this question about majors deserving more attention, I disagree. I think that all countries deserve attention. I think that, yes, they definitely need to revisit some of the earlier nations like Japan, the US, the UK, especially the Commonwealth countries. However, I would love to see every single country in this game have a unique focus tree. The non-historical aspect of this game is just as fun, if not more fun to me than historical. It depends on my mood. Anyway, but being able to go to Costa Rica and play a historical game as Costa Rica, or a non-historical game, rather, unite all of Central America, something like that would be super cool. That would be sick to be able to have a unique focus tree relating to their history and what was happening at the time period. And also if they were able to extend a bit further past World War II, where you can have a bit more Cold War type stuff going on, just in the early days, I would love that too. So I think this game's got a lot of life ahead of it, and that would be one of the best ways to make sure that Hoi 4 lasts like another 10 years. AOHPS says, By Blood Alone was a good DLC. I agree. Mustache Bob is back again, and he says, special projects are really disappointing since they take way too long to complete. The most interesting ones are only unlocked past 43, and most of the time there isn't anyone left to use them against. Agree and disagree with this one. I think that special projects, I think they're super fun. I love the fact of I love that there's all these new technologies for us to explore and all these new units and things that we can put in the game. I think that's sick, and I love the creativity that Paradox and the attention that Paradox has put into that. I think that it makes sense that they take so long to complete the majority of them. I played a historical multiplayer game with my community recently, and our US player was nuking Paris in like 43. So you shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, if you focus all your effort on it, sure, like, you know, you can get these things a bit earlier, but 1943 for nukes seems a bit crazy for me. And, you know, a lot of these wonder weapons didn't come around until the very end of the war anyway, like jet fighters and stuff like that. So yeah, that makes sense for me, especially as someone who loves playing this game historical. So I don't think it's inherently a bad thing. I think it's just a thing. So yeah. Let me know if you disagree though. Monty Mechanized Marines says, so far pretty happy with Götterdämmerung, and I still have heaps to explore. I wish the raids were more impactful. They're a bit like the spy missions to sabotage. They don't do enough to be worth it. And then he also goes on to say he wishes that there were certain raids like Dieppe or the SAS in the desert along North Africa. Cheers, Monty. I fully agree with that. I think that I have been a little disappointed with raids. They are kind of cool. I do like the fact that we have them as an option. I haven't really seen a use case for them, or like I've not noticed the AI really being hindered by that. In our multiplayer game as well, I was more focused with not being capitulated as the Soviets, to worry about doing raids and shit like that against Germany. And to be honest, they were kicking my ass anyway, so I don't think it would have made a difference. But I agree. I think, like, again, from the roleplay aspect, like, I would love more, not necessarily scripted events, but a bit more control over what you could do with them. So even being able to do raids on like high density civilian or military infrastructure states. So, you know, if there's a particular state which has like over 10 factories, for example, maybe then you could do a particular raid to try and disrupt the infrastructure there and blow up a heap of civs. Something like that, that'll be really cool. Or, you know, a bit more stuff with the resistance in France and Poland and everything, like what happened in World War II, those kinds of things would be sick. And I love anything to do with the SAS, would love the idea of having that. So yeah, it's a great suggestion. Hopefully Paradox puts it in. We'll see. Cyrillic looking name. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. I'm very sorry. They say, can you please provide a guide for historical Italy in Hoi 4? Yes, I'm working on that next. That will be my next country guide, and then followed by Japan. Mike Slovak says, playing historical Switzerland is actually kind of fun for me. They go on to say that they like to play tall through other games like Crusader Kings and things like that. Oh, yuck. I've played a historical France game before where I intentionally let myself get capped, and I was like, I'll just play in exile. Don't ever do that. That was the worst thing ever. In single player, like his multiplayer, you can get a mate to lend lease you stuff, but this sucked. Playing as Luxembourg and Switzerland and countries like that that don't have a lot of potential to grow, that are super hard, I don't have the time. But if you enjoy that, you know, power to you. That is definitely controversial because I don't see many people running to the comments to say that they love playing Switzerland. So good on you, Mike. And the last one for today, Mustache Bob, back at it again, says one of the biggest flaws with the Navy is being able to take enemy fleets in peace deals. Building up a large Navy is pointless since you can paradrop the UK, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, strongly disagree with this one. I think that the peace deal system and being able to take navies was one of the best changes ever, like, because otherwise all you're left with is the huge nations having gigantic navies and no one else being able to compete with it. As a small country, if you gobble up a few other nations that have a few battleships and, you know, some cruisers and stuff, you do a bit of clever refitting, you can have a decent navy. It would take far too long to do it as a small country on its own, so I think it helps eliminate a little bit of that, like, it helps shatter that glass ceiling a little bit that the UK and the US and stuff can hold over minor nations. One thing I do think though is that a change they could make to make it a bit more balanced is when you cap a country, the fleet available for you to take is essentially determined by what their level of war support is or something like that, where a country with high war support upon capitulation, you know, they're going to be quite proud of their nation. They're not going to want their fleet to fall into enemy hands. So they're going to scuttle the whole fucking lot of it, or like the majority of it. Whereas a country with low war support, they're going to be a lot easier to capitulate and to get to comply. So they're going to surrender a lot more of their fleet. So maybe a mechanic like that would be cool. So you can have a bit more variety in there. And also, again, like, I think being able to take all of it, maybe not the best idea, but at least like a good chunk of it, depending on, you know, how beaten a country is. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today. Thank you all guys so much for watching. If there's any other videos you want me to see, put comment down below, that it makes sense. And also, again, please subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps me out so much. Helps put my videos in front of other people and grow the community. It allows me to do more of this. So yeah, please just do all that YouTube stuff. I appreciate you guys all for watching. Check out in the description as well if you want to join my Discord and come and hang out, join some of our multiplayer games. The link is all down there as well. Follow me on my other socials, and yeah, I appreciate you guys. Have a good day.